Misty, I cannot hear you. There you are. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, we got
all of ours. We got the orange one, the blue one.
Hello. Okay. So, as people come inside, I'm going to tell you a little bit of how this works if this is your first time here. And for many of you who have been here with me for the past few months, we do this every single month on the second Saturday. The way that our group chats work is that if you have any questions regarding anything related to hair or your skin, this is just a very free and open place to ask. So we discuss whatever your needs are, we discuss whatever your issues are, and we just try to understand hair the best way that we can, hair growth and your skin health. So that's what I love to do. I love to meet with you guys and get to know each of you. You can share your stories with me if you're a CRISAN user, or if you're thinking about it, this is your chance to ask away, ask anything that you guys have on your minds. So with that being said, I'll turn the floor over to you. Whoever wants to speak, just go ahead and unmute yourself. And then as soon as you start speaking, the camera will focus on you. And so, yeah, that's how it kind of works. And then you're welcome to turn your video on. It helps me get to see who you are and get to know you better, but you don't have to if you're not comfortable doing that. So, yes. Who would like to go first? What about you, Misty, since you're already unmuted and you're right there looking so beautiful today? Do you have anything that I can help you with?
I am a hairstylist. I got to communicate a little bit with your hairstylist.
Oh, really? I have a hairstylist.
Okay, I guess it was a girl on one of your interaction Facebooks, and I saw she was a hairstylist because I messaged her about your product.
Oh, cool. So is this Brooke? I've had Brooke do my hair twice, so I would love her to be my hairstylist, but I think she's pretty busy. So she's done my hair twice in my life, which was really fun. Both times I recorded it because it was just a very fun opportunity. She's a really great lady, but yeah, go ahead, whatever you'd like to share.
Sure, and I was asking about the products because I've been a stylist since 1982. Great. Long time. So what I've always heard though with the oils, and I've been using your oils for I guess almost a month, and I'm really enjoying it. I love the smell. I guess my concern initially when I was talking to her was, the oils on the scalp and too much clogging the pores. She's like, no, that doesn't work that way. Because I mean, if you wear it a couple of hours or overnight, because I've been doing it overnight.
Yeah.
And these waves, it's from the oil. I don't have natural wave in my hair.
I think it's beautiful. I hope you enjoy it. So with Brooke, one thing about Brooke is she's allergic to nuts. And so she hasn't been able to use our oils yet, but it's very sweet of her to kind of explain what she knows. The oils, the way that they work, and this is something that I think is incredible for everyone to understand, because we all have different hair types. And look at you guys, you all have different hair types coming from different ethnicities, different backgrounds. The oils are able to help each of us. And the way that our formulation works is we have 55 oils inside our blend and purposefully done. Now, the reason we've done that is because each oil molecularly has a different structure. So some molecules are branchy and some molecules are linear. And each of these different molecules can either penetrate deep inside to promote blood flow or create protection around your hair strands, which helps your hair to not break. It helps seal your cuticle down so that your hair doesn't frizz and it's actually shiny and very soft, which I'm sure you guys might have felt. So each oil has its own unique property, its own unique characteristics, and we've in order to be able to tackle every different area that we saw was needed for hair care and hair growth. So I hope that helps you. Yeah, but one thing that I love about the formulation, which I think people are really taking note of, is that it doesn't matter if you have very thin and fine hair, if your hair is coarse and curly. Everybody has their own way of using CRISAN. You said you use it overnight. I have some users who are ethnic who use CRISAN for weeks at a time because they don't wash their hair every single day. And for me, I use it twice a week. It really depends on the different hair types. Some people can use it as a leave-in and it won't make their hair oily or greasy at all. And some people, if they just touch it with a drop, it becomes very greasy because their hair is not porous and it's not soaking it in. So we all have these different hair types, and the oils really help to seal that cuticle, to bring health so that your hair can be strong as it's growing. It prevents breakage. It also helps on your scalp. So the main thing with our oils is a lot of people use them to grow their hair thicker and longer. And the way that that works is that there are small oils, very small molecular size oils called terpene oils. And these are the essential oils. These are like all of the lemongrass, peppermint, lavender, etc. There's so many essential oils in the blend. These oils are very small molecularly, and they stimulate blood flow to the roots. And when you're losing your hair, the blood flow is the most important part of hair growth that you want to keep in mind. It's the number one thing in hair growth. The relationship between your blood flow, your hair growth, and hair loss, you have to kind of answer the question of, are you getting enough blood flow to your hair follicle? And the way that your hair follicle is made is that your hair follicles are usually situated in the lower part of your dermis, but in the scalp, your hair follicles are around the upper part of the subcutaneous tissue. And so the lower third of your hair follicles has this rich, it's called a vascular plexus. And it's pretty much an envelope of blood vessels. And if you get accumulation of DHT, if you have things that are constricting those blood vessels, it's blocking oxygen and nutrients from reaching your hair. So these terpene oils, they can stimulate deep into that tissue and stimulate blood flow, because it's just like kind of giving that tingly feeling that you feel when you apply it. That is actually that's the essential oil stimulating those blood vessels to open them up, to bring those nutrients and oxygen to your follicles. So yeah, I know that's kind of a long way, but that's a very popular question is, how these oils, do they block our pores? Are they bad for us? Are they going to cause hair loss? And the thing is, when we look at the vast majority of CRISAN users, everybody has their own different story from what they're suffering through. Some of our users have gone through deep chemotherapy. Some of our users have thyroid conditions, and a lot of users have deep stress in their lives, or intensely stressful situations that cause their hair just to fall. Others are suffering from COVID or getting over COVID and realizing their hair is falling. So everyone has a different story. And, when your hair is growing, so your hair grows in different stages. I'm sure you know that. And the growth cycle of your hair is the longest, but as soon as your hair leaves that anagen growth cycle phase, it enters this phase of a waiting. It's like a waiting phase. Now, if you're suffering from intense hair loss, your hair can be in that waiting phase, but it's not growing. It's ready to detach. It's ready to fall out. And a lot of the times what I'm noticing is when people use oils, if they're worried about hair loss, it's because they've applied oil and they're noticing a lot of hair is falling. Oils, I don't know if you've ever heard of like tooth pulling, where people take coconut oil and put it in their mouth and swish it around. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. The oils carry and clean out areas and crevices that aren't typically used to being touched. And so with your hair shaft, if a hair follicle, if a hair strand is just hanging out there, normally you would have to be brushing or pulling or doing something to get it out. But a lot of the times, most people would have a fear if they're going through hair loss already. they have a fear of overbrushing. They have a fear of playing too much with their hair for fear that it will fall. And so they have a lot of these follicles in the waiting phase, stuck, ready to fall out. As soon as those follicles detach and come out, it allows healthy new growth to be able to come. So when they apply oils for the first time, that oil is a little heavy. So it's going inside and it's actually cleaning that shaft, taking out those hairs that are stuck in that waiting phase and pulling them out. And that's a very important thing that needs to happen in order to make way for healthy new growth to come. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense.
It does make sense because I have thinning area, I guess, since I've gotten older and trying to get that to fill in.
Yeah. So if you're suffering from anything that causes scarring tissue, like scarring alopecia, that's the only time that I've really seen, just from my own experience and the users that we've had over the years, where hair growth won't be able to come because the hair follicle is not strong enough to push through that scar tissue. If your follicle is incapable of producing, or if you have excess scarring, like scar tissue over, then those spots that are thinning, it's going to be hard for them to grow. It won't grow back. But if you are having constricted blood flow and your follicle is still capable of producing, and all you really need to do is to open up that blood vessel to allow the nutrients and oxygen to reach your hair bulb, then your hair should start to, you should start to see thicker hair growth coming when you're using not only just the oils, but the vitamins that we offer, they also have properties that stimulate from within, that stimulate blood flow to the scalp from within. So there are different ways you can access that area. So
Okay.
perfect. Thank you, Misty. It was so nice to meet you. Do you have any other questions, or we'll go ahead and go to someone else if you're off
Can
now?
the oil be used, the one I have for my hair, can it be used on the face, or is that too heavy for the face? Because when I have extra on my hands, I'll rub it on my arms and my legs.
I'm guilty of using it on my face when I run out of my facial oil. I think that the facial oil is more specifically catered to your skin, and it's something that is much more, it's prepared for your skin in the way that it has nutrients that are very good for your face, but they share a lot of similar ingredients. And so as long as you don't mind that tingly that comes from like the tea tree and peppermint and camphor oils, if you don't mind that, then it should be perfectly fine. And I have had users say that their acne, they're using the hair oil for acne spots because it has these cooling oils. It has the rosemary, which the facial also has, but it has peppermint and camphor and tea tree, which cool the inflammation on their blemishes. And so I have people who do that. It's not going to hurt your skin. But if you have very sensitive skin, I would just stick to the facial if you have it, because the facial oil is meant for that type of skin. And another thing is, if you're using any oils on your face, always spot test first. Just spot test a tiny touch, because you want to also make sure with a product that has so many ingredients, even though they're natural, you never know if you might be allergic to something or not. So you just want to make sure, touch it a little bit. And then if you are experiencing breakouts, try using a little less. My husband has a type of skin where if he applies liberally and saturates his whole face, he will get a spot or two coming, where I can just swim in it and I'm fine. So it really depends on your skin type. But when he uses just a touch, like 1 or 2 drops for his whole face, he never has an issue. I think it's over applying that would hurt. So,
Okay, great. Thank you.
you're welcome, Misty. Okay, who's next? Who can I pick on next? Whoever has a question, you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask away, or I can.
Yes, I have a question. My name's Sandra, and I have a daughter. She has long blonde hair, probably down to the middle of her back. She's 10 years old, and her hair started changing colors. So we used the Frida Sun-In. Well, that made her hair break, and it feels really like parts of her hair has broken, and it feels like really brittle. And part of that's caused from swimming. How do I get that where it's not so brittle and it feels more softer. I bought the mask and I bought the oil, but it's still
Well, so with my daughters, I have 3 daughters, soon to be 4. I'm giving birth in 2 months to another little girl. And all of our children have different hair types. My very youngest has extremely thin, fine hair that is straight. My middle daughter has very curly, coarse, thick hair. And then my oldest daughter has very fine, thick hair. And they all love to swim. We actually went swimming yesterday. And the best way to protect your hair when swimming, take your daughter's hair right before you go and apply a little bit of water. Then take the oil and put oil throughout so that it's coating all of her hair strands. And then apply conditioner. Condition, just a regular, what you would use to condition your hair in the shower. Just apply a thick amount of conditioner to her hair. And so it coats over the top of the oils. And then I usually just braid my daughter's hair and put a swim cap, but my oldest daughter never wears a swim cap, and this still works for her. You want to protect your hair from the chlorine. And if it's breaking because of using the, you said Frida Sun-In, if it's breaking, if it's very weak, apply oil very liberally. And when you go to wash it out, just use regular shampoo and conditioner. Do this every day if you have to, or every other day until her hair becomes that very strong and shiny, because going and using these sun-ins and leave-ins, a lot of them have things that take all of the strength from your hair. It opens the hair cuticle. It causes the hair to entangle much easier. So as it's entangling and the hair cuticles open, it's more prone to breakage. It's hard to brush it out too. So just make sure that, anytime you do brush her hair, with my own children, because they have experienced that where their hair has just become too dry and I get worried for them. I always try to dampen their hair and put conditioner so that it's slippery when I'm brushing it.
okay.
I think that might help you. I hope.
Okay.
I have one niece. So my sister-in-law has 2 daughters, and they're African American, and her youngest daughter, they had a family tragedy where her youngest daughter had a big brain tumor. And my sister-in-law always cared for her children's hair so much, because African American hair is very hard to grow without breaking. It's hard to get beautiful long hair because usually it always breaks. And so she had always cared for their hair, and they had these beautiful afros that were just so beautiful and moisturized and curly. But when her youngest daughter got cancer, they completely, for about a year, they were fighting this cancer. They were trying their best to battle, and both of her daughters suffered a lot. Their hair became very weak and brittle because, in that stage of life, you're not really caring about taking care of hair. You're trying to save your daughter's life. And so, by the grace of God, she was able to fight. She's still with us and she's recovered remarkably. But my sister-in-law came to me and said, my eldest daughter, her hair is completely gone. Should I just shave it all off and start again? But this was 7 years of growth. That was just so beautiful. And so what we did is I took this just regular conditioner and I applied it to her hair with the oils, and I twisted it up for them. And I just taught my sister-in-law how to do that every single day. And her hair has changed completely. It's gone back to the way it was before. Very beautiful. You have to protect that type of hair. Seal that cuticle every day and make it kind of like, just be very intentional about it. Like that's your goal and plan, or else it will break. And once it breaks, you'd have to trim that breakage to get rid of split ends and stuff. So.
Okay. So my question was, all right, she has very fine hair. So how often should I put the mask in, mask in, to help boost that growth? That way I can keep on trimming it until her hair grows back.
Well, are you speaking about the mask that has the powders, or
Yeah,
the hair oil?
the mask has I have the oil and I have the powder one.
Okay, the powder mask Don't do that more than once a week. And that is a lot different as in terms of how it works than the oil. The oil is the one thing I would focus on for her, because the hair mask itself, it just slams hair with nutrients. It's a very nutrient dense mask, which once a week is the maximum I would use that. And with children, that the powder mask, I don't know, I don't usually use that all the time with my children, at most maybe once a month with my children. I use the oils a lot because small children don't really need, they have a lot healthier hair than adults tend to have. So they don't really need those powder masks as much, but the oils, I would use them as often as possible. My rule of thumb is if I'm going to get my hair wet, or if my daughters are going to get their hair wet, or even my son, I always put oil before they get their hair wet. Oils not only help stimulate growth, but they also protect your hair from breakage and something called high growth fatigue, which is where when you're going in water and your hair absorbs too much water, your strand expands. And then as soon as your hair dries, that strand will quickly shrink again. So it's undergoing this expansion and shrinkage, which causes it to break a lot. But when you're putting oils beforehand, it your hair from protein loss, it protects it from expansion. It really just kind of keeps your hair in a state where it can continue being healthy and growing properly.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. You're welcome. Okay, thank you so much. And whoever's next, go right ahead. You can speak over everyone if you'd like. Don't be shy. Okay, let's see. Who can I pick on? I will call on, let's see, how about Courtney Martin? You look wonderful today. How are you? Let me unmute you. I can't hear you. Let's see. Say hello, Courtney. We can't hear you. I'm so sorry. I can't hear. Maybe it's your headphones. If you unplug your headphones, I think we'll be able to hear your beautiful voice. There you are.
How about now?
Perfect. Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my phone, so it's a little weird.
Perfect.
So going back to the face oil, I'm curious if I can use that one on my hair, because when I use the hair oil, I'm a little scared to try it again, but I am going to try it again. It burned a lot, and I don't typically have allergies to anything, but it is a lot of ingredients, so I'm not sure. So I'm wondering if I can use the face oil instead.
You're welcome to, absolutely. That reverse using the facial on the hair is perfectly fine. The hair oil has ingredients that are cooling ingredients. Like I was explaining to Misty, it has tea tree and camphor, and these specifically peppermint and so many different ones. But these ingredients are powerful. So if you have sensitive skin even, it can cause your skin to be a little bit sensitive. Your scalp should never feel uncomfortable to the point of inflammation or like soreness. If that's I would not use it on your hair if that's how it's feeling, because that's not how it's supposed to feel for everyone. So yes, you can use them reverse if that helps you. Have you tried that before? I don't think I've ever had users use the facial on their hair.
I haven't. I started doing it, but I wasn't sure if it was gonna work the same way. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean the face oil is really gentle for me. It works.
Perfect. The facial has a lot of the same base ingredients, the same foundational ingredients, and it does have a lot of terpene oils as well. So it would help stimulate hair growth. Especially it contains an important one, which is rosemary, which is actually one of the essential oils that was tested on, it was tested on mice that had alopecia. And so it was tested for, I believe it was 6 weeks on mice, and it did better, it performed better than minoxidil on hair growth. So it does open up those blood vessels. It helps blood flow to come. So if that's working for you, by all means, go ahead. So thank you. Thanks, Courtney. Anybody else? Let's see. Oh, yes, I see a hand raised. Yes, Molly. How are you, Molly?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I'm sorry I'm late coming in, so I didn't hear everything that was said. But I did want to just comment on how much I do like. I have the hair strengthening oil, and that's what I started off. I'm a new customer, so I just ended up getting it about 2.5 weeks ago, and I absolutely love it. And I've used it twice so far for just like an overnight mask. And then I've used it, on my ends and stuff like that. But I was going to do like a little close up because it's only been 2 weeks. And I had a problem with, hair fallout and stuff like that. I mean, I could probably create a whole nother wig with the amount of hair that came out of my head all the time. And so it used to be really thick and it was thinning. I think it's a perimenopausal kind of thing. But this has definitely helped with the thickness of it. And it feels a lot healthier in just 2 weeks. And I was going to do my roots, but I was going to do like a close up. I don't know if anybody can see, but so you'll see my grays coming in here, but I have probably 1/4 of an inch growth of just in the past 2 weeks of using this. So I just wanted to tell you how much I absolutely love it. So, and I also use it on my skin, and I love it on my skin as well. So
Thank you so much. And so that's very beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Molly. I just want to make sure, because I know a lot of us who are coming here today, we might not all be like Molly. Molly is having a wonderful experience, and I'm so glad. I have a good friend of mine. I've heard this story before. She's 72 and she had chemotherapy and her hair fell out like crazy. And she started using CRISAN, and her hair was growing and it was becoming thick, but it was so slow. And I just want to make sure we all know that internally and the things that everyone's suffering through. And maybe I have had a lot of people like Molly who within 2 weeks have a lot of growth, and it's incredible. And I'm very happy for you. But if that's not you yet, don't worry. Just continue taking the best care of your hair that you possibly can. Continue supporting it, being very gentle. And when you're doing that, over time, your hair will become much healthier than it is now. You want to be able to give your hair and scalp as much of the ingredients they need to heal themselves. And like Molly, I didn't have any things like thyroid issue. I'm guessing, Molly. I'm so sorry. I'm just assuming. Okay. I didn't have chemo. I didn't have things that were inhibiting my hair loss. But when I started learning about oils from my mother-in-law, I had lost hair from just giving birth. Just after I gave birth, I had these big bald patches here and here, and my hair has always been pretty thick and healthy. And I've never really done much more than just shampoo and conditioner with like Herbal Essence or Pantene or just regular shampoos you'd find at Walmart. But then when my hair fell out after my first daughter, it never grew back. And it was kind of embarrassing because I was only 23 and I had, these big empty patches like my brothers had. And so it made me feel, it made me feel like I was getting older. And we don't want to feel like that when we're still fairly young. So when I moved to Sri Lanka, my mother-in-law, who's 63 now, was just, walking around with her jet black thick hair that she, she never had grays, and she had this beautiful, healthy hair. So I was, of course, intrigued, and I wanted to know, are you dyeing your hair? What are you doing? How do you maintain that? Because in Sri Lanka, not everybody has gorgeous, beautiful, thick hair. Everyone's suffering from grays and thinning and balding, but she was different. She was just like this light that was glowing, and I wanted to know all of the secrets. And she taught me a lot about hair growth. She taught me about how to take care of hair using
hair oil stuff. Hair oil. Yeah. And it's got like tons of really good ingredients.
I'm gonna mute you.
And it's helping people with hair loss.
There we go. Found you. Okay. So anyways, I'm so sorry. No, but so she had taught me all of these different ingredients that were so good for hair health. And I was applying them all the time, and she was applying them all the time, hair masks and hair oils, and she makes her hair oils. Like we had this hibiscus garden, so she would pluck the hibiscus flowers and make hibiscus oil and make coconut oil. And my husband, the reason we went to Sri Lanka was to build a coconut oil factory, because he supplies organic virgin coconut oil to Sam's Club and to Costco. And so we were there for that time to build our factory. And so we knew a lot about oils, but I never really used them. And so for now, it's been a little over 5 years, almost 6 years, I've been I just kind of converted right away, because I saw her with her hair so healthy and so thick and so beautiful. I wanted to see if it's, if I just do that, maybe it's going to be worth it. And it has been. It's been worth it. My hair has gotten much thicker. It's maintained its thickness, but I haven't started, if I put hair oil on my skin, it's not going to just start sprouting hair. It just takes what you already have and it helps it to grow and helps it to thicken, and it's much better than chemicals. So that's what drew me to it. But I'm really glad to have all these different experiences from you guys, to see some of you have growth after 2 weeks, and some of you, like the woman that I was telling you who had cancer, the 72-year-old woman, she, after 6 months, she showed me a before and after picture, and she said, I can't believe it. And I think maybe if you go to our YouTube, you might see this. Her name is Diane. You can see that her hair from the beginning, it was so thin. It was very thin, but she never noticed the growth that was happening until she saw it after 6 months. So it really takes, takes some time, it takes some patience, takes effort. You have to want to do it all the time. So yeah, I talk a lot. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I'll open up the floor again. Here we go. Who have I not asked? So we've got Courtney, Molly, and Misty. Let's see. Who else can I pick on? I see all these names of iPhone. If I call on one of you, let's see. Hello, can I ask you some questions? I'm not sure your name. It just says iPhone. Let's see. I'm going to ask you to unmute if that's okay. Hi. How are you?
One thing I will say is that I actually love your entire line.
Thank you.
I use the hair vitamins, the oil, the facial set. I have noticed a lot of hair growth, definitely in my eyebrows.
Well, thank you. Wonderful.
Actually have brought back life to my eyebrows in terms of, and I've seen a lot of growth with my hair since having my my 3-week-old.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
my postpartum hair loss seemed to be actually disappearing completely.
That's
So
wonderful. Well, thank you.
you know,
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm really glad for you, and congratulations on your baby. That's wonderful.
I'm actually wearing the hair mask right now. That's why my hair's up in a little clip. So
That's awesome.
you know,
That's perfect.
for CRISAN treatment in terms of
That's great. I always put the mask on my daughters on Saturdays. Saturdays are hair mask day because we always go to church on Sunday. So I want to make sure they get it in on Saturday, and I wash it out in the sink at night, and then their hair is ready for church tomorrow. So that's really great. I'm so glad. Thank you for sharing. And what was your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. It was nice to meet you, Rachel. Thank you.
One thing I do have a question on is
Yes.
that are we allowed to use the hair mask and the oils together like overnight? Like,
Yes.
is that something I can do? Like, I do have the.
If you have a system of doing that's safe for you, I would recommend doing that if you have a system that works for you. The reason that I've cautioned against doing that is because the hair mask becomes very, it's okay.
I've been actually using the hair mask. Oh, thank you. And the oils all at the same time, like overnight.
Oh,
And
good.
it's actually kind of made my hair like it's a protein power pack of
Yeah.
vitamins.
Yeah, you're welcome to. The only reason that I've ever cautioned against it is because the hair mask with the powder can become very dry. And when you're sleeping, if that dryness gets pulled or tugged, it can cause unnecessary hair loss. It can cause your hair to be pulled out. But if you are happy with it and if you're comfortable with it and you have a way of doing it without ruining all your pillowcases, then by all means, we want the system to work with your lifestyle, with how you feel is best. If you're using them together, they're very powerful, both of them. So it's not going to be bad for you. It has a lot of antioxidants that will help to heal your hair. So if you feel comfortable doing that, be my guest. And I'm glad that you shared that with others who might be thinking the same thing as you.
Yeah, because that's what I've been putting it in one of those Bonnie caps at night.
Yes.
And what I've been doing is I'll do the extreme treatment twice a week. But then, in between, I'll actually put little drops of the CRISAN oil and actually massage it with my hair massager.
Yeah.
For like 5 to 10 minutes a night. And actually, it's been kind of working wonders using it. I've been using it every single day for like 2-3 months. It's been like an amazing difference.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. One thing that, I've been curious about this. I have a lot of users who have made it their own as far as how they use products, and we give directions on how to use things, but I highly recommend breaking the rules and trying what you feel would be best for you. If you have the time to make kind of like a video of your routine on how you're doing it, that would help a lot of people. Because there's a lot of people who are scared to go outside of the room. But if it's helping you, by all means. I use the oil and mask together all the time, but I don't really sleep with it because my children always sleep with me and I don't want them to wake up with like mask all over their face and stuff. But yeah, Misty, do you have a question?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I mean, just thank you. It's brought everything back to life for me.
Thank you so much, Rachel. And then I see a hand raised. Molly, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. You might have already covered this, but what is your hair regime as far? Do you blow dry, or do you let it just dry on its own, or how do you do that for upkeep? Because you hear different things where blow drying is bad for it, and stuff like that. But what do you do personally?
I actually have stayed away from heat styling tools for a long time. And my hair has come to a length that is really fun. I can style it in different ways. And the way that I always dry my hair is as soon as I get out of the shower, and I apply just a tiny touch of CRISAN to my ends. And then I comb my hair when it's damp, and I twist my hair into a bun while it's damp so that it takes most of the moisture away. And by twisting it, my hair is pretty thick. And so that twist causes a nice kind of curl. If you notice any pictures on our Instagram or on our Facebook, my hair is always kind of having this twisty look to it, kind of twisted. It's because I'm twisting it into a bun. And then I'll take it out of the bun and let it air dry more. And then I'll again twist it and twist it and twist it into another bun, and I'll take it out. And I do that about 2 or 3 times. So after I wash my hair that day, it's mostly dedicated to just twisting it, keeping it out. But then the second, it's like big and it's curly and it's nice and it's like really fun.
And so how long from beginning process to the end of twisting it and bunning it does it take till it's thoroughly dry?
I would say maybe,
because I know you have long hair, so
yeah, probably 3 or 4 hours. It's really hot in Texas, so when I lived in Utah, it would take longer than that. But here it dries pretty fast. And I say 3 or 4 hours because I am putting it in a bun while it's damp, and it's hard for hair to thoroughly dry when it's in a bun.
Right, right.
So basically, I wrap it 15 minutes to allow it to dry and again wrap it up. Each time I wrap it and put it against my head in a bun, like Princess Leia from Star Wars, it's like this big bun here. The heat from my scalp also dries it, but it kind of curls it.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are good tips, because that's one thing is I felt a difference between, when I would use the flat iron or the curling iron or the blow dryer, about how much, drier my hair was. So it didn't seem as healthy. So that was just one of my questions, but thank you.
You're welcome. Manoush has one question. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly, yes.
Yeah, okay. I have a question about, in one of your videos, you talk about the water you use, like Nestle water to wash your hair.
Yeah.
And if you could please elaborate on that, because I'm
that's also
contemplating whether I should get a whole house water. And, the whole house water is kind of expensive, so I don't know if I should get that, or what are you, if I get the Nestle or some water drinking dispenser, so how do you, like, you put it in a pan or then take it to the shower with you, or how do you do that?
Okay, so if you're looking for a cost-effective way to use filtered water, the way that you can do it, you don't have to have a service come and drop it off for you if that's difficult. One thing that you can do is go to Amazon and buy a water dispenser from Amazon, and then any grocery store normally sells 5-gallon.
Last year it went up 34%.
That you can use.
So you could buy.
Oh, so you put the water in the water dispenser, but how do you take it to the, like, do you heat it up and then you put it in bowls or something to take it to the shower with you, or?
The water
If you look at
dispenser
the history, the long-term history, obviously the worst
I'm
scratch.
sorry.
I'm gonna unmute only you, Manoush, because I hear some talking in the background. I'm not sure who it is. So let me go ahead and just unmute you. And let's see if I know how to work Zoom well enough to do that. Let me put that little button. There we go. Sorry, I think I did it wrong. I'm going to ask you to unmute somehow. Okay, I'm asking everyone to unmute, but only Manoush unmute if you can do that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
So when I wash my hair, the most inconvenient thing that I do that might be difficult for others is that I use cold water to wash my hair. And you don't have to do this if you're not suffering from hair loss. This is something you can forego. You can use the warm water if you want. But I just have a room temperature water filter in my bathroom. And in my in-laws' restroom, we keep one. And, whenever we're washing the kids' hair, I wash their hair in the sink and use cold water, because colder water seals the cuticle. And when you're using cold water, it's an easy way to ensure that your cuticles are not open and exposing the rest of your hair to breakage. Because if your cortex is exposed, if you look under a microscope at have these little shingles around your strand. These cuticles are like shingles, and if they're raised, it can cause pollution to enter. It can cause any environmental damage, UV rays, and your hair is very sensitive. It can break easily. It's just like a strand of protein. So you want to try to maintain as much care as possible for that. So what we do is we just have a pitcher. It's like a bowl, like a pitcher that we fill with water and rinse. For my children, I always wash their hair in the sink, so I just put it on cold water and use the cold for that. The filtered water is really great if you're losing hair with hard water or water that contains minerals and things that make it heavy on your hair. My mother-in-law is the one who taught us how to do that, because she had moved from Utah to Sri Lanka to Texas, and she went to all these different places, and she had a lot of hair loss every time she got into a new place, and it was usually because the type of water she was using had changed. And so I experienced that going from Utah to Texas, or even when we were in Sri Lanka, I think my only time that I experienced excessive hair loss was after the birth of my first two children. Soon after that, when I began using oils, I didn't have to worry about that anymore, but I still have that habit of using filtered water. And I think as long as I have that habit, I'm just going to let it continue, because it is very good for your hair. But yeah, just I hope that.
Yeah, because I think it's drying to your hair too. So no matter, I found that no matter how much of an oil, I mean, I just started on your oil, so, but my hair is also curly and very dry, and I'm also menopausal, so that I know it doesn't help either.
Yeah.
So I thought, so you wash with cold water. So if I put it in a pitcher, just like bend over a sink or bathtub or something, and then you just
Yeah.
wash your hair like that.
Or in the shower, and it doesn't have to be cold, it doesn't have to be chilled. I just rinse with room temperature water. And if it's in a water dispenser next to your shower, it will be room temperature already. So you just have to fill it and rinse with that. And yeah, that's the way that one works. So
Oh, okay.
it really helps because that water has been filtered and it's clean, and it's
Yeah.
hair if your hair is being damaged from those harsh minerals.
Yeah, okay. So you keep the dispenser in your bathroom and with a pitcher, and you just wash it. Okay, yeah. Because those are expensive, like $6,000-$7,000 to do your
Oh,
whole
the house for a
whole
while.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, those are
So
pretty expensive.
yeah.
They're filtered
Oh,
$20,
yeah.
$30, and then the actual 5-gallon jug lasts you like forever, and that one is $5, I think. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for the tip.
you're welcome. I hope that helps.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. And then does anybody else have any questions I can help you with?
I guess the only question I have is, because I've been using the Brita filter, filtering my water with, the Brita filter and actually putting it on my hair. But if we're on well water, does that have any effect? Do I still need to use a filter?
You don't really need to use a filter unless you're going through something very drastic. And what Manusha is describing is that, she is going through these times in her life where hair loss might be more excessive than if you're just healthy and very, just kind of having balanced levels,
Yeah.
balanced hormone levels. So your hair can fall out a lot when you're going through different changes of your hormones, if your hormones are fluctuating. So if you're going through hair loss like that, or stress-induced hair loss, or anything that's causing your hair to drastically fall, that's when I would consider integrating a water dispenser into your regimen. It is not something that everyone has to do. And well water is very good, actually. I don't believe well water is something you have to be concerned of unless you live in a place where the water beds are mineral rich, extremely mineral rich. So I think you should be fine unless you notice that the water is what's causing your hair to fall, because hard water will cause that. And you get a lot of that when you live in cities and you don't have wells and stuff, and you have to use just the regular water from your tap. But well water, I think, is okay. You're welcome to try
Awesome.
it, see if it helps
Thank you
you.
so much. Because I've been doing everything by the book in terms of trying to prevent, because I had a lot of bad postpartum hair loss while I was pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah. So while you were pregnant, you were losing a lot of hair? While through your pregnancy?
Yeah. Well, this last pregnant baby was baby number 6. So I've been pregnant the last 10 years.
I see.
So,
yeah, that would explain it.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I've been trying to use everything in the book, because it's just been an uphill battle to try to get my hair as long as yours.
Oh, really?
And I've been working since college to try to get it down to my waist.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's really great. Congratulations. 6 children. That's amazing. I come from a family of 6, and my husband and I always wanted to stop at 4. So the 5th one was a surprise for us. So we're adjusting to that. Like, we already get stares when we go shopping for having such a big family, but I guess the stares are just going to get even more so now. So that's awesome. 6 kids. Okay, guys, I'm going to turn to the chat really fast. I have some questions here that I haven't answered that came a while ago. So the first question was, how long should we massage after applying the face oil and the hair oil? When you're applying any oil, or even if you just can think about it during the day, just simply massaging your scalp will help open up those blood vessels and allow oxygen and nutrients to your hair root. So how long you should do it, I think for, anywhere to 30 minutes is fine. But you do want to make it a habit. You want to try to massage as often as you can. And then for your face, massage is a beautiful thing for your face. If you have any excess, like, you know how your lymph nodes, if you want to help them to drain, you just want to kind of massage around your face, around your chin. And I have all these facial exercises that my sister-in-law taught me, that she's been doing since she was very small, that help to keep your face very healthy and sculpted, and it helps to drain any excess, just bad stuff that collects in your lymph nodes. It helps to just drain it out so that you can have very clear skin and you less prone to breakout. So I do facial massages in the morning and the night. Every time I apply the face oil, it's always being massaged on. So you just want to help your body to drain any waste. And then you can do it as often as you want. It's not going to be bad. I don't think you can over massage. And then I have another question here. It says, can I combine the CRISAN mask and CRISAN? I think we answered that. That was Rachel's question. I think we answered that. And then, oh, Molly says goodbye. Okay, goodbye, Molly. And then does anybody else have any questions I can help you with? We still have some time. I can open it up for anyone. Let's see. Or I can pick on someone if you want me to. Misty, do you have any questions? Or are you just waving goodbye?
Now, I was going to ask you to tell me more about the powder formula that you have and the purpose and the benefits.
Okay, so in India, or in most South Asian countries that I've been to, the women who take very good care of their hair use what's called a hair pack. And a hair pack is usually, it's like gooseberry or amla, which is like an Indian gooseberry that's been crushed and mixed with other ingredients, curry leaf and ashwagandha and gochukola and all of these different powders. It becomes like a thick paste. They apply water to it and make a thick paste, and they always apply it to their scalp. And my mother-in-law had created these hair packs and has been using them very frequently throughout her life, as long as I've known her. The hair mask that we created, it's called 100 Plus. And what we've learned is that when you're using one ingredient, it can do as much as it can do by itself. When you combine ingredients together that are all very powerful and healthy in their own way, they have this synergistic effect where sometimes combining ingredients allows them to be more powerful together than they would be by themselves. And so what we found is that this 100 Plus has 100 different ingredients, anything from mushroom and seaweed to gochukola and curry leaf and fenugreek, things that the things that we know about much more, and things that we've never used before ever. And so when you apply the hair mask, it's really just slammed with powerful phytonutrients, antioxidants, things that can work wonders in a short amount of time. And so the hair mask powder can be made using water. It can be made using any type of liquid that you need for your hair. I have people use it with their CRISAN oil, with yogurt, with avocado, banana, cranberry juice, you name it. There's different ways to make recipes for that. And when you apply it to your head, it's not like the oil. It's a thick paste, and you leave it only for about an hour, and then you wash it off. And then you don't have to apply it to your entire hair. Usually it's just on your scalp. And I have users who who like to apply it to their whole hair because they see a very good change. But when I apply it, I usually just apply it to my scalp, and then I put like oil on the rest of my hair. And I have a video on our YouTube channel that teaches how I apply it, but you don't have to follow that by the book. You can make it your own. But it is just jam-packed with a ton of nutrients. And these nutrients stimulate not only blood flow, but they provide your scalp and your skin with just great benefits. Another thing with the hair mask that some of my users have found out, but which I also do, is you can use it as a face pack as well. So you can apply that paste to your face, let it dry, and just like a facial, rinse it off with a cool water to seal your pores. And it really helps your skin. It helps with breakouts. I like to take things, take different ingredients and recipes and make the most out of them, whether it be like, sometimes I'll make smoothies, but they're always all natural. I don't put anything that is artificial in them. And then I apply that, if I have any leftover, to my hair, or I'll make a hair pack and apply it to my face. I like to get uses out of everything. So
That's
yeah.
great. Also, I don't know, I have a hair client that she's been using molasses, unsulfured molasses on her scalp. Her gray hair is going away. It's gone back dark.
Yeah, molasses is naturally very dark, and I believe it can be like a dyeing agent. Sometimes when you're turning hair that has lost its pigment, if you're trying to put pigment back into it, it's very difficult to do that, because once your hair's pigment is depleted, it doesn't usually restore. If you go to our comments, you will see ladies who have started using CRISAN oils or masks, and they're showing before and after pictures of their hair white and then their hair with pigment. And honestly, it's something that I don't also like to tell people, like, this will happen to you. It has happened to people before, and that's great. Very great for them. I think that's wonderful. My mother-in-law has been using oils for so long that she doesn't have gray hair still. But if you're starting later in life, will your hair go from, will your hair not gray? Will it go from white to colored again? I really don't have enough information to say yes or no for certain, but I've seen it happen. So yeah, but molasses is a very rich, dark color, and so it wouldn't surprise me if her hair is actually getting color from that. I've never really looked into molasses as a hair nutritious pack, but I'm sure there's a lot of good things in it that you could use.
As she takes like 2 tablespoons a day. I don't know why or how that would change your hair color though.
I'm not sure. We never know, we never know. A lot of people come from different backgrounds and have different things that maybe her body needed that. So is it something I would go and promote? Probably not, but if it worked for her, I think that's great. So, and another thing that I like to do, with our CRISAN users, especially those who are experiencing like hair loss due to stress, we try to make it as easy as possible. So if they have a way that they're doing things that's working for them, we try not to change it. We just try to support them as they go through. And that's one reason why, I love the CRISAN products so much, is because they are meant to be integrated with whatever you're currently doing. Before you wash your hair, just put this and go and just do what you normally do. I try not to change people's lifestyle too much, but I'm noticing a lot of people changing their lifestyle because they like what they see, and so they want to stick with this, which is really wonderful. So we just try to make sure that, if molasses is changing your hair color, here, have some molasses, here you go. Like, support her as much as you can. Make sure that she has the support.
That's what I do. And I wish the smell would last longer. I would even suggest that there's a way to make, I guess, a perfume with some of your different oils, because I was doing doTERRA oil for a while. So, putting it on to make it more of a natural body, I guess, oil in a sense of perfume.
Yeah. I would love that. I think it's right in the middle right now, because there are some users who are like, the smell is too strong. And then there are others who are like, I can't get enough of it. So I think it's a pretty delicate balance right now, but we have considered taking our essential oil, just the essential oils that we use, because that is what the smell is coming from. We have considered taking that and making little tinctures of that, like maybe 1 ounce small things that people can use. If they have allergies to like coconut oil or other carriers that we use, they can add it to their own and kind of make their own CRISAN. Or if you wanted to, you can mix it with a carrier and use it as a perfume. I'm not sure how that would work, but I think we might be doing that later on, because I've seen a lot of people who they want to try CRISAN, but they can't because of allergies to things like coconut and hazelnut oils and things like that. So yeah.
Well, you have an amazing business going on. I really think it's great what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, you guys. It's time for us to finish our meeting, and I'm so glad I was able to meet with you guys, and I hope you're able to keep coming to these meetings, and it really helps me. If you have questions that weren't able to get answered today, you can email me at info@crisanbeauty.com, and I'll just answer you as quickly as I can. Just one thing that I wanted to just share is that if you're emailing me and it takes a while to get back, please have patience, because I always get very sick during my pregnancies, and this one has been a little bit more hard. So I'm very tired and sick, but I'm trying my best. I want to just make sure that you're all supported as much as you can. But I love meeting with you guys. I love seeing your faces. I'm so glad you chose to come here, and I hope you guys have a great day. So I'll see you guys all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Courtney. Bye, Callie. See you.